Thank you, and good morning. My name is Jeffrey O'Donnell Jr. I'm a general partner with Runway Healthcare. In addition to being a general partner, I am also the CEO of our portfolio companies. Today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Runway Healthcare, what we are, what we do, and then I'm going to tell you more about our latest portfolio company, Pace Surgical. So, Runway Healthcare is a venture studio. We invest capital and management to develop commercially ready opportunities for the medical device industry. Our model is a little unique. We look to take direct ownership and furthermore responsibility for the success of the portfolio. At the time of exit, we look to own roughly 50% of the portfolio companies, but we also provide a fractional management team to every single one of those companies, giving us an incredibly cost-efficient model, across the portfolio. Today, Runway Healthcare has 3 portfolio companies, all that happen to be in the orthopedic space. We do invest in cardiology and neurology, but they have to fit within the 510(k) pathway. To date, we have Waypoint Orthopedics, which is currently in an M&A phase, Total Solutions, which is another single product company, and lastly, Pace Surgical, which I'll tell you more about here shortly. So Pace Surgical. If you are unaware, the foot and ankle market within orthopedics is currently the fastest growing market at large in that industry. This is a complex anatomy that requires specific solutions. Trauma is not new, and we know that. However, what we are doing in this space is all about the patient. So when you look at this foot, there are a lot of bones and a lot of moving parts that are there for a reason. Our goal is to preserve these anatomical constructs without sacrificing any patient comfort or satisfaction in the long term. Our board of directors is primarily made up of Runway Healthcare general partners with myself, my partner Bill Rhoda, and our managing director Jeff O'Donnell Sr. We're also fortunate to be joined by Nick Pasciuta, who is a podiatrist by training, and I'm sure everybody in this room knows, as well as Ivy Hall, the former worldwide chair of Synthes Trauma. The foot and ankle space is a very unique space. It's not unlike peripheral cardiovascular, where we have multiple different surgeons calling on the same space. So when we put together our design team, we wanted to include all of those different methodologies into fixing the same injury and have that included in our design. We're very fortunate to have this slide. I think this is a slide that Stryker or J&J or Medtronic would also be very proud of. So from a trauma standpoint, we have 2 of the best in the world in Jim Krieg and Samir Mehta. From an MD orthopedic standpoint, we have Drs. Lou Schoen and Greg Guyton. And from a podiatry standpoint, we have Drs. Nick Romansky and Steven Sundar. All 3 of these different subspecialists think about fixing the same indication in a very different way. And we need to be able to accommodate that in our design and in our tray layout. So as I said before, this is a growing market. Most recently, we saw the acquisition of Paragon 28 by Zimmer Biomet, north of $1 billion. This puts a tremendous amount of pressure on the other strategics to be able to compete and win with a purpose-built solution in the lower extremity space. So I talked about before, that foot has a lot of bones in it. It's built to sit a certain way, it's built to move a certain way. You can see here, if I get out of the way, this midfoot fusion. This is a very common midfoot fusion. This patient is very unlikely to be able to walk on anything other than level ground for the rest of their life. Furthermore, the plate and screw constructs in here are going to cause tremendous discomfort for that patient. We see in the foot and ankle space from a trauma and reconstruction standpoint that hardware removal cases occur almost as often as the surgical cases that we go in to fix them with. My mother had multiple screws removed, as did my mother-in-law, and most notably, we've seen Tiger, with his litany of injuries, have to pull out of tournaments. If you feel your foot, reach down, flex it in your shoe, there's not a lot of tissue supporting those bones. So having ultra-low profile plates and screws are going to lead to longer-term patient comfort and outcomes. Lastly, we are designing anatomically specific plates and screws. These are built for the indication that they're treating. Legacy trauma has been around for a long time. We know that. but it's very much putting a square peg in a round hole, to use a terrible analogy. So, we have two main projects at Pace. First, we have a compression screw line, and we also have a plating screw line. In addition to that, we have all the common instrumentation that you would expect to accompany these products. On the compression screws, which are the ultra screws, we've come up with an innovative design that we've been able to get patents on that enables the surgeon to start their screws with ease with this cutting tip, but then the thread form that follows provides consistent torque while they're inserting that screw. We have found that other compression screws in the foot can cause too much torque, putting a stress on the anatomy, and also giving the surgeons reason for pause as they're putting it in. They don't want to crack anything. So we spent a lot of time in the lab defining this thread form. We have over 3,500 SKUs across the portfolio, everything that you would expect to be able to provide full suite of service for not just trauma, but also flat foot reconstruction and other deformities that are out there. The real magic is in our plating system. And so the tempo variable locking plating system, as I said before, is indication specific. You'll see a couple of our plates up here, our midfoot plate, our calcaneus plate, and then down here is our latest, which is a compression plate. What these do is they enable the surgeon to maintain that anatomical construct. They allow the surgeon to not have to sacrifice anything when they're putting this foot back together. It's not uncommon that a surgeon has to go in, they perform their cuts, maybe they have to lift that foot up to get the plate to fit right, ultimately shortening that anatomy or preventing them from being able to return to the same quality of life that they had prior to that accident or incident. So these plates maintain that distraction, they provide compression in a way that I can't yet talk about, and they have been designed by the surgeons that have been doing these cases day in and day out for next to 30 years. So they know what works, they know what they have, and they know what they need. So Pace Surgical is working its way through its evolution with Runway Healthcare. Our goal at Runway Healthcare is that we partner with innovators at a very, very early stage. We develop the product and the regulatory pathway, we get it approved by the FDA, we go out and do a handful of cases to prove that it works clinically, and then instead of taking in a large commercialization round, ultimately bloating the valuation, we look to transfer these technologies out to existing strategics at a very affordable valuation where they can see a fast ROI and compete and win the next day. So you might be thinking, okay, a trauma company, it's been around for a while, Synthes did a pretty good job with that, but a dedicated, anatomically driven foot and ankle product line for the lower extremity is still a new frontier in orthopedics. All of these companies on this slide have a need to be able to compete and win with the Zimmer Biomeds of the world, who are now the Paragon 28s, in a meaningful way immediately. And so as Pace looks to submit its 2 510Ks towards this summer, hopefully have approval towards the end of the year into early next year, it will be ready for commercialization with one of these targets in early 2026. So, if you have questions about our fund, you're interested in investing in the fund, any of the portfolio companies I did not discuss, or Pace Surgical, please feel free to reach out to me, visit our website. My cell phone and email is right there as well. Thank you very much.